All right, looks like we're live. So I'm going to be updating my infantry ranking, through the 400 and below gold, 401 to 600, 601 to 900, and 901 up. This is just for ranking non-regiment of renown infantry. And for those who have not seen the way I test, I will go over it. Um, when I test, I use the unit testing mod, so I can use a very small unit testing field, and I use pick any general so that I can have a 1v1, and that's obviously so because units interact with each other. If you test 5 versus 5, even if you're testing it with a friend, if one unit routes, that can cause another unit to route. So I really want to have a very repeatable way of testing these units because I like testing them over time. I think I started this whole set of tests well over a year ago now, and I'm updating them, and I will continue to update the ranking over time. I do not change the formations of the units. Formations have a big impact on how two units interact. Uh, I have done a set of tests to show that kind of a mathematical interaction, the way that it changes depending on whether a unit is going to win, lose, charge bonus. These things can make an impact on that. So I just keep them in their base formations, and that makes it so the tests that I do are very repeatable. It's going to be the same every time, and I can look at how a unit changes over time. That's really the main thing. So if you're looking at my tests or thinking about interpreting my results, you can always understand them in terms of I test in the base formation package. So your interpretation may be different than my own, which is fine, and your ability to interpret my results should be pretty straightforward. And that's my goal, is that my testing is always going to be the same or very similar, and it's easy for someone to draw their own conclusions. Now, the data I get is I like to look at when a battle actually starts, when two units start doing damage to each other. I get the finish time, the end time. I look at their finishing health, the start health. I get a DPS, or damage per second, per each unit done to the other. And then I look at a gold differential. So I'm evaluating the value, not just whether a unit wins or loses. What I want to know is I look at the ending hit points versus the starting hit points and multiply that through by their starting gold value, and do that to both units and subtract. Because a unit that has less value, even though they lose, can gain gold in an interaction. And a classic example of this would be an anti-infantry armor piercing unit going up against an anti-large non-armor piercing unit. You could have an anti-infantry unit that's worth 600 and gold or something that's kind of down there, going up against a much more expensive unit, and even though they might lose, if they knock them down to 20% of their health, they can gain gold in that interaction. And because this game in multiplayer is based on you both start with 12,400 gold, I personally like that way of evaluating them. It's a subjective evaluation, to be fair, but it's just how I like doing it. Then I like looking at sometimes gold per minute. That's how fast they get that, because that's also important in an interaction, particularly in multiplayer, because it's a finite amount of time that you have for your armies to go. And lots of times a very efficient unit, for example, like Ironbreakers, are very gold efficient, but they're very slow to kill to gain that gold. So they can be tied up with cheaper units while your opponent's more expensive units go to work. Then I look at gold ratio, and that's how much do I have to spend to get the gold I'm getting. This can help evaluate some units to one another, and I also look at just the straight win-loss. Now for this, I've set it up purposely so that all the units in the package are going to lose every time, because when you switch from winning to losing, it really dramatically alters the gold values. So when I'm trying to compare units to each other, I don't want them to necessarily fight each other. I would like them to fight something they're all going to lose to, and then I can look at the value. And the two units that I test against in the 400 gold and under are Dwarf Warriors and Nasty Skulkers. And I do test in all my tests with dwarfs because I dwarf main. I like testing dwarfs. I do know dwarfs have magical damage, so any unit that does magical damage will fare a little more poorly in this testing, depending on how many dwarf units they're fighting, and in the test. And that's again another thing to understand in my testing. So I don't think there's any units that do magical damage down low here. So I'll just go and get this testing started. All right, so we got dwarf warriors, and I'm going to make dwarf warriors the defenders, and we got the Unger spearmen. Now the Unger spearmen herd got vanguard and stalk. They got 1 extra health. They got 50 extra gold. These usually only be 300. I thought that was a little severe because they weren't that great before, but vanguard and stalk are pretty good, to be honest. Are they worth 50 gold? I don't know. We'll just see how they do in the actual fight. They should end up being really bottom of the barrel in the overall ranking. I don't think there's 24 different units at 400 and under gold, so we'll be able to see that. So when I do testing, I take guard mode off, start the battle, and hit go, and then I'll show how I take the data. Boom, I stop when they're going to start doing damage to each other. Is this 5950? Yeah, okay, so there you go. This is the test like I did. Let me see. Let's see some of the other tests I did here. Okay, so the very first test I did was July 20th, 2018. So a year and a couple months ago. And when I did that test, I did it with the same settings, same everything. They met at 5950. So that's just, again, a back check. So I put the date on there, and then I look at stuff like that. So let's get down here, and we'll get to the start. Okay. So I know they're starting at 59 minutes and 50 seconds. So then I can just let the fight go. And I go until the unit routes, and I take the time again. So I just hit fast forward, and away we go. And, you know, aside from... Oh, Jake Wu, hey! How's it going? Yes, you are catching this one live. Here, let me... I'll pull it. I'll leave the chat out. I just got to remember to look at it. That's the one thing. I forget to look at the chat all the time. I don't know why. Like, I do this live, because I like testing. It's relaxing, and I thought I'd do all my testing live so that I can just chat with people, and then I forget to look at the chat all the time. It's actually surprisingly difficult to turn my eyes to my second screen. Okay, so there we go. We'll stop that. And now I'll look at the time there, 56:47. Okay, 56 minutes, 47 seconds. So the battle took 183 total seconds. Dwarf Warriors finishing hit points are 4446. Okay, and the Ungor Spears finishing hit points are 1500. So there we go. The Dwarf Warriors did 28.5 DPS to the Spears, and the Spears did 7.7 DPS to the Dwarf Warriors. The Dwarf Warriors pulled 164 gold at 54 gold a minute, and it cost, the gold ratio is 0.36, which is actually pretty good. And of course, they won. A Wizard Lizard, hey man, how's it going? So we got to get... I got to get both you guys onto a... By the way, I got to get both you guys, Jake Wu, a Wizard Lizard. I need Zach be saying... Oh man, there's so many guys I need to get on the Grumbling Dwarf. So I should do a video on how I'm going to do the Grumbling Dwarf. I'm going to just do 1v1 one-on-ones for the Grumbling Dwarfs, and that way I can just organize them whenever is convenient for anyone who's going to, be on for an interview. Sort of a quick 30-minute, like 20 to 30-minute show, and one topic of discussion. It's sort of like that's the way I did it with Brachycera, aka Ginger Lord, on the last one, and I'm going to do that same format. I think that works good, because then it's, if someone wants to be on a show, I can just plan it with them, and we do a live cast. If there's people there, but otherwise just people can just watch it. I think that's going to work the best. And my original idea was, okay, it'd be sort of like a tavern and everyone would just drop in, but it's not so easy to do that. Okay, so we'll keep this test going. All right. I'm really interested to see. There's some like I really like if I pause this really quick, there's a lot of changes that I need to test. Because if I look, here's all the changes I haven't included in my testing. So therefore, from the Doomsayer update, you know, like the Ungor Spearman, Men-at-Arms, Forsaken, Blades of the Blood Queen, I'm actually going to completely take them out, and I'm going to replace them with the Crimson Killers. Because ever since the Crimson Killers got buffed and properly running in January, they've been very good. So, but the Miners, Dwarf Warriors, Hammers, Giant Slayers, like a lot of units that I need to retest, like Stormvermin with Halberds, are quite a bit better, and they needed some big buffs to sort of get into a reasonable state. And Vampire Coast, Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs have basically taken 800 off their health in the last year. And, you know, maybe they needed those nerfs, but I think it was more the summons that needed to be nerfed. I think the Vampire Coast, are not quite as strong because of that, but we'll see. Anyways, I'll go back to my 400 and under test. Okay, and we'll just keep that going. Wizard Lizard, cool. Biggest problem are the time zones. Yeah, I know. Like you're in Europe, right? But I can get up and do one at 8 a.m. my time, which would be sort of 4 p.m. your time or something like that. I'm okay with any. I know I had someone request that I do a live stream between midnight my time and 3 a.m. in the morning my time, which sometimes I am up. I can do a live stream at those times. I have no problem. The beauty of doing the Grumbling Dwarf as a one-on-one, that's just you and I that have to organize, right? I don't have to try and organize it with multiple people or promote it and say it's going to be live at this time or that time. I can just do it, and we can have, you know, a chat and record it and put it out there at any time. And there's so many people I want to talk to and just talk about dwarfs with, you know, like there's at least 30 on my list that I really want to get into a discussion with. People that I've been talking with forever on the channel, and lots of multiplayer players as well. So 5650, 650, very consistent results. That's why I like Dwarf Warriors. The results tend to be pretty consistent. 4324. Ungor Spears, 1791. All right, we're back in battle. Rematch. Yeah, Wizard Lizard, that last game I cast of yours, man, that was so fun. I watched it a bunch of times. I could watch that frontline engagement just over and over on repeat. just where you just brought the Dwarf Warriors, or sort of the Miners with blasting charges and totally decimated the Dark Elf front line. It was just glorious to watch. And it was actually nice, your opponent in that match came and commented in the comments of the cast, which I really liked. You know, I like good games. Like, you know, you always focus on the winner of a good game, but the truth is, a good game is only good because you had a great opponent, and they played well and you played well, or they made the same amount of mistakes as you did, or whatever the case is. Great games are because you have a great matchup and a great opponent, and they make it for fun and entertaining casts. So it was nice to see him drop into the comments as well. It was I really do enjoy that. 5705, 57.5. Dwarf Warriors, 4196. 86. Looks like the Ungor Spears are going to do pretty good here. Ungor Spears, 1689. 135 gold. Well, pretty good is a relative term, isn't it? For a spear unit, they're doing all. I guess they're doing okay. We'll see how they compare. I really want to do. Yeah, Wizard Lizard. Glad you liked it. I love that game. Like, I love. To be fair, I love all Dowie games. I really do. You know, I watch every bit of Dowie content on other people's channels. You know, it's rare that I miss one. Sometimes I do, and I try and watch live streams. And when I watch live streams, I'm just waiting for dwarf games. I mean, that's. And I know Jake. I find you and I end up being in the same live stream so often. It's pretty funny. We're both looking for that dwarf game. I haven't been really active lately on casting and everything else like that. I just haven't had a whole lot of time. I've been on the forums a little bit more because it's easy to get in and out of a forum, and I have been tracking tournament results, and hopefully I'm able to, keep on tracking those and get up to 1,500 data points, so 750 games over this meta, which would start to give pretty interesting results, I think. 56, 53. But I'm essentially splitting the tournament results into two categories: pick ban tournaments and blind pick tournaments, because that's really I don't know how well they mesh up. I think they do need to be taken as separate data sets to be at least have a shot at interpreting the results. 4289. 4289. Ungor Spears. 1384. 1384. Okay. In battle. Rematch. Grumpy Guard, greetings. Hey, how you doing, buddy? I got a whole bunch of your games I want to cast too. I'm so far behind on my replays. I get behind so damn fast, and I know I think 6-year games, Grumpy Guard, and they're all great. I mean, I want to cast every one. Wizard Lizard, I'm sad to tell you I forgot to save a win versus Kark's Beastman. Oh, if you like the gas last game you sent, oh man, it was really, really good. That's funny is sometimes I forget to save replays too. I mean, even though I try to do this as my hobby, I forgot to save a really good replay versus Aurora boss. We were just doing a training match, and it was versus his chaos, and like Aurora boss is a way better player than me. It's not even close, and it was a very, very close game. But I forgot to save the damn replay, and I didn't record it live or anything like that. But I know, that would have been the second great Beastman game you sent in a Wizard Lizard, because that first one was really good as well. And Kark is a great opponent, like really great player. Grumpy Guard, trying Gotrek and Felix a bit earlier. Oh, there we go. Grumpy Guard, trying Gotrek and Felix a bit earlier. Still, the thing with him flopping around makes me really. It's is what it is. It's been that way for 3 years. Hopefully, the problem is a philosophical decision by CA. So they believe, and it was. I'm glad they explained it. It was actually really good in the forums. DGE explained the idea is that CA believes that Footlords should get knocked down and go flying. And the argument that I've seen is that I believe is that, well, a goblin on a wolf won't go flying when it hits a Dread Saurian. A prophetess sitting side saddle on a light horse won't go flying. So why would the lords go flying? And then, so that's their philosophy and their concept. Now, I understand that, and that might be fair and reasonable if dwarfs could all have mounts. But dwarfs are uniquely affected by the idea. And that where if you had, say, Karl Franz, you could choose to bring him on a horse, on a flying mount, or on foot. And on foot, if you knew, okay, he's going to get knocked around a lot, but he's super cheap, then maybe you're going to be okay with that. But the Daoi you do have two mount choices, to be fair, with Thorgrim and the Rune Lord, but the idea is just, it uniquely affects dwarfs. And I see the arguments from people who don't play the dwarfs. They don't understand the frustration. And to be fair, of course they couldn't understand it because they haven't experienced it over and over like people who do play the Daoi. And I mean, you know what it's like, Grumpy Guard, Wizard Lizard, You know, anyone who's played the Dowie a lot knows what it's like at the end of the game when you've got a chariot or a single entity like a monster that can just cycle charge you to death, and there's nothing you can do. You try and do things like double clicking, you try and charge into it, you try and do this, it doesn't matter, and it's very, very frustrating. But I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I think CA does a great job with balance as a general rule, because this game is, I would say, the most difficult to balance game in the history of games that need to be balanced. It really is. Javier, how's it going? How's it going, Javier? It's been a while. Grumpy Guard, I reckon there's a post on the Total War forum. Yeah, I recommend you remain proprietor to the post. Yes, Grumpy Guard. I've been on the forums a little bit. It's been a while since I've been on forums. Forums can be a pretty rough place to discuss an idea because they're very intense and a lot of people are pretty emotional. So, I mean, I don't like forums in general, but now that I've seen that, you know, we did our testing with Dwarf Warriors with Great Weapons. I've known they've been weak for 3 years, and I finally made a post about it, and they got a +2 melee attack buff. So CA does read those posts, and they do take action on them. So I believe, even though I really don't like forums in general, I like them and I don't like them. Let me put that. It's a love-hate relationship. I really don't like the vitriol and the emotional part of a forum, but I do love the ideas that flow there, because a lot of times there's some great ideas, and even though they might not be practical, they get you thinking. Like even a bad idea can get other people thinking into a good idea, and that's sort of the creative process. So I do, you know, forums, you got to be careful. It's so easy to get bitter and upset and emotional about it, and I can't stop myself, and I'm a pretty level guy, but you know, it is what it is. Okay. Grumpy Guard, I'm in there too, but sneaky, but tried to back up the discussion with something useful. Nice. Javier, I will tell you, now I want to see that testing. Oh, yes, okay. Okay, so 56-54. So 56-54. And Dwarf Warriors, 42-21, 42-21. And Unger Spears, we've got 17-19. Okay, so 146 gold differential. So we're going to save that. And I want to go look at Unger Spears that I did the testing. So 146 gold. So if we go up to July of 2018, where's the Unger Spears? All the way up. Okay. 92 gold. Whoo-wee. That was an expensive change to the Unger Spears. 92 gold compared to 146. It's like a full 54 gold. You know, I know they got a little more health, but they're 54 gold weaker. Now, to be fair, they can Vanguard deploy in stock. What other buffs did they get? They got Vanguard in stock. Vanguard in stock, plus 1 health. Unshielded got 4 leadership, -4 charge bonus. Yeah, I don't know. I would be interested to hear from Beastman players what they think of the Unger Spears. I don't think they needed to make them 50 gold more expensive. Maybe 25, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But you can see they made them 50 gold more expensive, and even with the health, you know, they lost. So, all right, so we'll go to Ungor Spears. Well, we'll see what they do against the Nasty Skulkers. So Ungor Spears with shields next unit. So in that battle, Ungor Spears with shields, and they're now 400, right? Ungor Spear Herd with shields, 6720. We'll start that battle. I'm just going to actually pop the chat out. Pop out chat so I can see it a little bit better. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Here we go. Let's get this test going. I'll just make sure that these guys meet. Yeah, 5950. 5950. Perfect. So let that test go. Grumpy Guard. Yeah, relaxing, isn't it? It is. Nothing more relaxing than Excel and math. I agree. It is cathartic. It's just something to settle down. Yeah. Grumpy Guard, by the way, what do you think about potentially new flamethrower gyro? What? There's a potentially new flamethrower gyro? I think yes, please. Wizard Lizard, you're scandalizing us now, Grumpy. Don't play with my bearded heart. Jeff, I agree. A flamethrower dryer? Oh my god. Grumpy Guard, I would love it. I don't know how to describe that love that I would have for a gyro that had a flamethrower, but it would be a big love, a giant love, a true love. 5633. Are you serious? Is there someone thinking about a flamethrower gyrocopter? Because I know they got the steam one, but a flamethrower one? Oh my god, that would be amazing. Okay, sorry, where did they finish? 5653. 5653. Dwarf Warriors finished with 4009. 4009. Ungor Spears finished with 1833. 149 gold. We'll see how this ends up. Okay, rematch. Grumpy Guard, I would never do that. That'd go straight into the Great Book of Grudges. Grudges. Yes. Grumpy Guard, I'd reckon it was visible on Gotrek and Felix art. No! What? Still could have been gyro with a steam, but with a strange filter or something. Or perhaps it's a Regiment Renown Wizard Lizard. What? Gotrek and Felix art has one with a flamethrower. Can you link that in the chat, or say where it is, or link just link a link to where it is. I want to go see the art with it. Oh my god, that might be like, you know how because CA has been known to do this. They will put something in a background and art, and it will eventually get there. Jake, hey, nice to see you back. Flamethrower, Jake, how would you like a flamethrower on a gyrocopter? Javier, which is what we want. Malakson doing his stuff. Grumpy Guard, can I post it here? Yes. Grumpy Guard, anyone, like, you can, in my chat, you can always post it anywhere. And no matter whether it's linked to other people's channels, anything, if there's dwarf content or dwarf games, I'm all in all the time. I would love to see it. So you post it here, Grumpy Guard, and I will pull the picture up. If you can find it for me, I'll pull it up so that I can show everybody. Oh, Jake, that would be amazing. I agree. That would be a dream fulfilled. Like, so. Oh my god, Grumpy Guard. This might be amazing. Like, if you've noticed that one had a flamethrower, this could be. So when would it come out? It would come out October 17th. That's when it would come out. October 17th is when they're going to release Gotrek and Felix to the world for free. So they always, a month after, they do a quick rebalance run in case something had a mistake, and they usually add a unit. So you've seen that. Brachysera, hey, how's it going? Okay. Jake Wu, I don't even know how to link in chat or YouTube comment section. So Jake, just go to the top of your stream, or if you go to a website, just go to the very top on the bar and select it and copy it and just paste it into the chat. Brachysera, I believe is available to the Empire as a regional ROR. Let me check Reddit. No way. Grumpy Guard can recommend RimWorld Total War Dwarf mod for a really nice relaxation. It's just a bit of a fun thing. Yeah. Brachysera, good. Yeah, Grumpy Guard, I really want to start playing, what is it? What's this game I want to play? Pathfinder Kingmaker. That Aurora boss showed me. I really do want to play that as sort of a second game, just to relax. Okay. 5612. Sorry. I keep getting the data. 5612. All right, so we're going to finish 3692 for the Dwarf Warriors. 3692. That's very good performance for the Ungor Spears, I think. As good as it's going to get for them. 1750. 130 gold. Okay, about the same. Just want to save that and make sure I get it. Okay. End the battle. A rematch. Javier. I prefer they first do something useful with the gyro bomber. Gyro bomber's in a weird place, Javier. Their guns are good. The gun on the front of the gyro bomber is good, but that's not what it's for. It's a gyro bomber. So, I mean, I think you would have to make the bombs OP if they're all used correctly to make it worthwhile. It's like one of those things. I think the only way to make a gyro bomber's bombs worth it, because it's so micro intensive, and they call it a micro sink or whatever, that the bombs in the gyro bomber would have to be, if you got them all off, like strictly OP, like way overpowered, to make the unit worth it, because it would be so hard to get all those bombs off in the ideal situation. So their bombs would have to be buffed a big amount, and then they could nerf the guns. The guns are great on a gyro bomber. You can kill lords. You can do a lot of things. The guns are awesome. Okay. Javier, plus Factoro. You need Factoro. I know what you've suggested that before, because I know you know that I like Dwarf Fortress, and I haven't played Dwarf Fortress in a while. But I would like to play Factorio. I have gone and seen it, and I have watched some videos on it. Plus, you guys need to see the vid Italian Spartacus did about maybe the Dwarf versus Skaven DLC. That's the link. Okay. Grumpy Guard made some role playing with Divinity Original Sin 2 and made Gotrek in there. Nice. I like RP. I really do. That's one of the reasons I like Skyrim and stuff like that, because I like the RP side of it. Jake Wu. Oh, okay. Brachiosaurus, new flamethrower gyrocopters for the dwarfs. Jake Wu. I spelt dwarf wrong. It's okay. Jake. Okay. Oh, you're going to try that. Awesome. Okay. So, Brachiosaurus just learned that this isn't an oversight. This is a unique unit Marcus gets for helping the dwarf hunter. Oh, really? Javier, or let him autobomb with more bombs and lower power. Yeah, I agree. Javier, there's lots of things you could do. I don't know what the right thing to do would be, though. I just know gyro bombers are just, their guns are good. So, what it is, Jakku, yeah, we need to delete stuff properly. That's correct, Jake. We do need to delete stuff properly. Let's see, 55-47. Let's keep getting the data here. 55-47. And the Dwarf Warriors finished with 33-42. 33-42. Ungor Spears, 1607. Only 111 gold lost on that fight, which is not too bad. Rematch. Jake Wu, dwarfs getting Shard Dragon to be cool but weird. Yeah, I agree. Grumpy Guard. I mean, I think even dwarfs with rune golems would be a little strange. Now, I know rune golems are there in the lore, and I understand how they would work, but it would still seem odd. I think I want to keep sort of that sort of monster stuff to the Chaos Dwarf side, but rune golems would be cool. Maybe they come someday, I don't know. Grumpy Guard. Still, this flamethrower is visible on screen where the Gotrek and Felix are the only dwarf units. Oh, cool. Grumpy Guard. Sorry, there are greenskins there too. Okay, a Wizard Lizard. I think guns should be good too. It's a big platform, better for bigger guns. That's true, or Wizard Lizard. You can't deny that. But the guns are already great, though. On the Gyro Bomber, you can kill lords easily if someone doesn't have a counter to your Gyro Bomber with just the guns. It's the bombs that are the problem. Now, that's where I think I would rather see the bombs be outright OP if you use them correctly, and the guns be weak, than the guns be strong and the bombs be strong. That way, if you could win a game with a Gyro Bomber if you really were on top of your micro, and because setting where your bombs go is really difficult. It's not easy to bomb something, and it takes a lot of time. And while you're doing it, you're zoomed in. And you have to be zoomed in so you can get in the right location. Like a bomb from a Gyro Bomber has to be worth the micro to get it off correctly. And the only way to make it worth the micro would be to actually make it OP. a wizard lizard. But apart from that, they could add variations of the gyro bombers. That's true, with a different kind of bombs. Actually, that would be neat, a wizard lizard, to have like a different sort of bombs depending on what you're using. Jake Woo, Dwarf Thunderbird should be so cool. Okay, Dwarf Nuke, Jake, me and you are on the same page. A Thunderbird ROR, sold. I'm there. That would be amazing. Grumpy Guard, 2 gyro bombers plus 2 gyros and some ground troops can work really well against green. Since they can, gyro bombers are like, the thing is, gyro bombers can snipe lords. They're good at sniping stuff, and they do some good AP, and they're, you know, but their bombs are still not there. I don't think. Still not there. Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I haven't honestly. Have I put a true effort into using gyro bombers? No, I haven't. So to be fair, I don't know. I've seen some people use them quite effectively. Like, yeah, but Gundam 1 uses them, and he's a YouTuber, and he's really good. Thunderbarge ROR, the spirit of Grungni, yes, sold. 5608. 5608. And Dwarf's finished with 3939. Oops, 3939. Okay, and Ungor Spears finished with 1838. Okay, one more test, and we'll have the dwarf portion of the Ungor Spears done. Wizard Lizard, but yeah, it should probably be like Queen Bess, one of a kind. Yeah, agreed. Jake Woo, the Wrath of Grungni, another great name. Spirit of Grungni, the Wrath of Grungni. Grumpy Guard, the one made by Malachi Machiason. Sky Wrath of Grungni. Okay, get in there, boys. Let's get this job done. So, if the flamethrower is available, the flamethrower gyrocopter is available in campaign now as a reward for Empire, or what's his name, the guy down in Illustria with the bow. I like how I made the goblin fewer, so sure. The Goblin Hewer, yes. You know, for me, I mean, I hate goblins more than anything, and anything that's really focused on killing goblins, I'm a pretty big fan of. 5626. 5626. 4202 for the dwarfs. 4202. Ungor Spears, 1902. 138 gold. So the Ungor Spear with shields performs better. And you know, in an infantry fight, and I've said this many times before if you watch my testing, I really don't like it when they stratify this way. The Ungor Spears should pull more value in an infantry fight than Ungor Spears with shields. And it's backwards. It shouldn't be this way. It's certainly, it's anti-intuitive. Okay, what is today's date anyways? October the 5th. Okay, so put October 5th, 2019. Okay. V. So let's get the Nasty Skulkers and the Ungor Spears. And battle. Grumpy Guard, Malachi Machiason equal Lore Slayer engineer who made the Zeppelin, which had additional 3 gyros to deploy. Oh my god. Javier. Remember, dwarfs have submarines and battleships. Don't touch your barbs yet. But I want to see them in war. Yes, in Total War 3. A wizard lizard. Goblins are huggable. With a bear hug. It's true. Grumpy Guard. He also had some sort of minigun. Would be so cool for a ranged hero for the Dowie. Yeah, agreed. Javier. Yes, Malachi's awesome. And Snorri. Yeah, true. Javier, he has an axe thrower machine. So many things that I want. Okay, continue. Let's grab our, where are they? Nasty Skulkers. And we need just the Ungor Spears. And I like the Goblin Hewer. That's just a great name for something. You know, I just like it. It's a powerful name. You know. Boom. Okay, so 59.53. Okay, so the timing is still the same. Okay, here we go. Nasty Skulkers are such a good unit. They're just a very powerful unit. Okay, stop. 58.50. 58.50. Okay, 63 seconds. Nasty Skulkers finished with 42.94. 42.94. And the Ungor Spears finished with 22.91. Okay, just curious. Well, I'll go look later at the other tests because the Spears got leadership, right? Let me just check. Ungor Spearman, all Vanguard deployment. Ungor Spearman Unshielded got +4 leadership. So the Ungor Spearman Unshielded should end up with less health in this testing than they did in the original testing. So if I look against the Ungor Spears, they finished with 24% of their health. What did they finish with in July 2018? Where is it? 27% of their health. There you go. So sure enough, they finished with more health. 26% of the spears with shield. 27% of the health, and that leadership is they will just hang in there longer. Come on. Yeah, they're just going to hang in there longer. Interesting. Good. All right. So we go to Nasty Skulkers. 58.50. Yeah. In the battle, and we'll rematch. Okay, look at chat. Javier, yes, but my English is terrible, so Axor is good enough for me, and no take risks. Hey, doesn't matter how anyone's English is on this channel, Javier. You know that. And I want you on the Grumbling Dwarf at some point too. I want everybody on Grumbling Dwarf, to be fair. But we've tested together. We've talked together on this channel for so long. I want to get you on the Grumbling Dwarf so I can interview you about the Dowie. Even if your English is bad, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It doesn't matter to me or anyone else here. I don't think. Okay. Okay, maybe so. Jake Wu, yeah, it's super funny as well. Maybe that's the idea, to make the foe think it's weak and foolish, but only to realize the vengeance when they get in range. Exactly. 59.01. And Nasty Skulkers finished with 46.37. Ungor Spears finished with 27.88. Okay. Only 76 gold differential. That's not too bad. That's actually not too bad at all, really. And rematch. Javier, I may try. I need more to improve my grammar. It's okay. We can just we could just chat a little bit at some point too on Discord and kind of see what you think. I think it's fine. You know, it's funny is people with kind of strong accents don't realize they're fun to listen to. You know, I've talked to people before. They've got me worried. Oh, you know, my English isn't the greatest, and having English as your second language, it makes you more interesting to listen to, I think. And my dad, he didn't speak English until he was 16, 17. My wife, you know, she didn't speak English until she was in her 20s. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's actually really good. I find I love listening to, like, I personally love listening to people with accents, and the heavier the better. I think it makes the conversation more interesting, uh, for some reason. I don't know. I couldn't tell you precisely why. It just does. Okay, 5901. Another one. Are we going to get a repeat? So before I go back, this is one of the rarest things you get. You do get exact test results. I've had 3 now, and I've done thousands and thousands of tests. But every once in a while, you get an exact result where everything's the same, health and time. So time starts the same. I always get look. So 4637 with the nasty skulkers. No, 4665, not the same. And Ungor Spears, 2928. Okay, 71 gold differential. Okay, we go quit battle, rematch. We need more beer to improve your grammar. You know what? Beer / ale. These are things that are true to the Dowie, and they make you more interesting to others, and they make others more interesting to you. Beer is a magical substance. Hey, Zach B. Zaid, how's it going? Okay, let's go back. A Grumpy Guard. It would be really cool if Grombrindle would get a Vanguard while he's on the field. Agreed. Miners get the same sneaky. Agreed, Grumpy Guard. He would be the ideal Vanguard Lord, I think, because he always shows up in battle just out of nowhere, which is so thematic. Brachysera. The Lord Skyhammer arm is a Thunder Barge. Okay. Jake Wu. It'll be like Ulthar's Raiders when they throw axes at something, but this time from axe catapult that throws continuous stream of Gromrel axes at the same time. Jake, just hearing that makes me happy. Wizard Lizard Grumpy, a fantastic idea. Javier, miners need to appear like rats from underground. I agree. They need to come out from underground. I still don't know what are miners for. Vanguard units would never get to the enemy too slow and wrong equipped with scouts. I agree. Jake Wu, we need Bugman's Brew. I agree. So Javier, I would love to see miners deploy underground with like a movement speed of 10, say. Be very slow, but you could Vanguard deploy them underground, and you can pop them out from underground. And that way you could pop them out from behind someone. You could pop them out on top of artillery. I mean, I think this would massively expand Dowie gameplay so much, Javier, like so much, if you could have miners start underground like they do in tabletop. And it's not like miners are powerful units. They're not. I know they do have armor piercing and good armor, but they are still pretty weak. And we're going to do some testing. We're going to do some testing to see that. I think if you were going to do that, though, you'd have to take miners with blasting charges and not make their blasting charges less powerful, but give them less units. So you'd have miners with 75 models per unit, and miners with blasting charges with 60 models per unit if you gave them both that underground, and that would help balance that, because getting behind a unit and throwing off a thing of blasting charges and then rear charging them, I mean, can you imagine how glorious that would be? It would be amazing. It would be amazing. Jake will imagine Slayers manning the Goblin Hewer. I know, Jake. It would be amazing, actually. Javier, in tabletop game, they're good to kill enemy war machines. Exactly. That's what I would use them for. I mean, every single Dowie, well, not every single Dowie build, a lot of Dowie builds would have them just to Vanguard deploy underground and, go and kill something. 5850. 850. All right. Nasty Skulkers. 4246. 4246. Ungor Spears. 2272. 272. All right. 72 gold. Very, very consistent results, which are always good. Consistency is great. Jake Wu, I wonder how the Thunder Barge would boost the Dowie air superiority in the game. Well, I mean, Dowie just don't have an air superiority. Like, would it get them so they could? It'd be interesting. Like, like they're still like you can't. I mean, you can. So to be fair, you can try and bring gyrocopters against factions that have flyers like bats, like the vampire counts, tomb kings, beastmen, and dark elves. Because the beastmen and dark elves have harpies. You can try and bring gyrocopters, and they'll work if they don't bring anything to counter them. But if they bring counters, if they bring any of those things, your gyrocopters are just done. And you can bring them back and try and defend them in your line, but they're really gonna struggle. I mean, all you're doing at that point, and I have brought them in those matchups. All you're doing at that point is trying to wait for them to make a mistake and send their bats or their whatever into range of your range, so you can gun them down and then open up the game for your gyrocopters to play. 58, 59, 58. I know I've really loved having one gyrocopter in a lot of my armies because you can control it and it's so damn useful. That's all thanks to UMAs. It really changed the UMAs changed my there's been two big changes in my thinking in the past, three big changes in my thinking in multiplayer in the past 3 years. My first was from watching Brachycera, aka Gingerlord, play. And the idea of dwarf 20 stacks. It was revolutionary in my brain. I was like a bomb went off in my head. And then the second was UMAs, that one gyrocopter. I mean, you have one gyrocopter and one artillery piece. It is a powerful combination for the Dowie. 58, 59, 58, 59. And then the last one was working with Aurora Boss and him directly coaching me. I mean, he really changed my thinking going into games and how I try and play him. I still can't follow all his coaching. I wish I could. It's hard to change your thinking after when you're as old as I am, but I'm trying. Okay, 50, 58, 59. Yes, okay. 4672 for the Nasty Skulkers. 4672. 4672. And we've got 2619 for the Ungar Spears. 2619. 2619. Okay. Only lost 76 gold as a whole. That's not too bad, to be fair. I'm gonna go copy V, and now we gotta get Ungor Spears with shields. So in that battle and out. In that battle and out. Continue. Now we need Ungor. Whoops. Ungor with spears. Ungor spearmen with herd with shields rather. Start the battle. Look at chat. Oh my god, I'm getting behind. Okay, so Javier. Sorry. What if a dragon attacks it? Oh, so I gotta look up. Holy, the chat's been going here. Okay. Thunderbards, Zach, be sane. Sparty took everything from the forum post except Malachi. Okay. Jake Wu, what if a dragon attacks it or something? Yeah. But, like, if you can keep him in range of a bolt thrower or a cannon, that's what you need to do. Grumpy Guard. This Vanguard, while invisible, would allow for some really nice change of strategy against most factions who people are grumbling that are boring. Agreed. It would be amazing. It'd be so fun, Grumpy Guard. Javier. So even if they were worse than goblins, they can kill a war machine or spot. I know. It'd be so fun. Zach be seen. When he's the reason new units work thematically. Okay, Grumpy Guard. You know what? It may be worth it to bring on Total War Warforum for him as a separate post. So I have one separate post on Total War Warforums. I think every single cycle, Grumpy Guard, looking at how... So I guess I'm on the forums doing more than just posting. I'm looking at how... I want to try and understand how CA considers things and the best way to post to get changes, to be effective in creating change. So I'm going to try to post at least one minor suggestion for miners going underground every patch cycle. Grumpy Guard is at least once per patch cycle. Javier, MM and books gyros can make. Okay, Tora. Yeah. Jake Wu. Rune golems would be awesome though in melee battle. Rune golems would be awesome. You know, Javier, but there are no rune golems in Warhammer World, I think. Are they just in the White Dwarf magazine or something? Jake Wu. You know, Dowie made rune constructs with axe heads for arms and stuff. I never saw, but didn't read all the books. Okay, Jake Wu. Rune golems are a thing, you know, in Warhammer. Dwarfs in the current lore just can't use them anymore. Yeah, they're old. They're like they were around with the ancestor gods when dwarfs were stronger with runes than they are now. Jake Wu. Having them in the game would be nice, even though it kind of doesn't make sense if you get what I mean. I agree, Jake. I kind of like, I'm torn on rune golems. I get it, but I don't know if I'd like them or not. I'm not saying yay or nay. They don't quite match up in my head. Javier, because they seem to Jake. The reason is they seem too magical. That's what it is. They seem too magical. And I know runes are magic, but it's captured magic, but it just doesn't seem quite right. But I wouldn't complain if we got them. Javier, there's also an army made of different kind of slayers for the Slayer King, which they didn't implement. Yeah, Wizard Lizard miners should being chaff. Well, a Wizard Lizard miners should be chaff. Actually, I can't remember who made this argument, but it was a good argument. Actually, Slayers should be chaff. Now, I get it in the lore. There's some amazing Slayers with Gotrek, and there's Slayer King, and there's Giant Slayers. But in general, the way I had it explained to me was right, is that Slayers are generally just regular dwarfs that did something, you know, that really messed up. And they might be drunks, they might be really ne'er-do-wells or looked down upon. And if you looked at the vast majority of Slayers, they're really not that spectacular, and a lot of Slayers wouldn't even be coming from the fighter class. I mean, they wouldn't be dwarf warriors or miners. They might be, you know, Slayers might be like a merchant. So the base unit of Slayers could be really cheap because they got no armor, they've got no status amongst other dwarfs. They're already dead amongst their kin. So I think the right thing to do would make Slayer chaff. If you're going to make a true chaff unit for the Dowie, they should be Slayers. Unbreakable, but very weak. Like a group of like common Slayers. Okay. Let me see. Sorry, I'll get this test going. I'm just trying to keep up with chat. Ungor Spear Herd with shields. Let's just make sure they meet. 5953. 5953. Okay, we'll get that going. Okay. Wizard Lizard, I'm completely against rune golems. Monsters are for pansies. Well, that's true. I can't argue that. But rune golems are... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they fit. I'm with Jake on this one. Like they're awesome, but they're also not. I don't know. I'm torn. Jake, now I made my Dowie mind think. It has to be in the game for the good of the everlasting realm. Jake, that's pretty good logic. Dwarfs don't need monsters and animals to fight for them. That's true. Jake, I mean, if dwarfs can reanimate these things, do you understand how happy they would be from a lore standpoint? Jake, if the dwarfs, the modern, quote-unquote modern dwarfs, could animate a rune golem, they would be ecstatic. Ecstatic. You're completely correct. Okay. 5805. They lasted a long time. Wow. 5805. That's really good for the... Are they sure I got the right guys? Yeah. Ungor Spearman Herd with shields. Ungor Spearman Herd. Wow. Nasty Skulkers finished with 3070. And Ungor Spear Herd 1201. 75 gold. It was about the same. See, this is again, the Ungor Spear should perform better than the Spears with shields. It's just how it should be, but it's not. It's actually Empire chaff infantry that's the most borked, but I won't worry about that. Okay. Oh man, okay, exactly. Basic Slayer should be the closest thing to chaff. A Wizard Lizard, yeah. I mean, dwarfs can reanimate things. You understand? Oh yeah, Javier. Yeah, but they'd be a very creative race and really awesome ways to die. Jake would be regaining lost knowledge for the ancestors. Jake, it would be a massive thing in the lore to make a rune golem. Like you could, I think you could write a novel about it, and it would be really interesting if they did a novel about creating a rune golem. It'd be an amazing novel. I know that. Slayers, Grumpy Guard Slayers plus Mourner or Priest of Grimner would be awesome. You know what the Dowie does need is they do need a Priest of Elia, like for healing. Like that, hopefully that comes. Like hopefully that comes in game 3 where the Dowie actually get a rune priest, a priestess, I guess, where we see some female Dowie on the battlefield, which would be fun, and the dwarfs have some healing and different buffs, and hopefully a lot more runes, which I think would be fantastic. It would be really fun. 5808, because dwarfs have healing, like lots of it. Like it's not like aside from dwarfs being incredibly tough, they do have healing. 5808. And Nasty Skulkers 2954. 54. And Ungor Spears 1493. 93. 48 gold. The Ungor Spear with shields are doing quite good, actually. Okay. Quit battle and rematch. All right. Back to chat. Giant Slayers would be the complete opposite, exactly because of how Slayers go up ranks compared to normal people. Yeah. It's it's I love the contrast. Like the worst Slayer in the world is Gotrek. He's the biggest failure ever. But he's also the kind of the hero, right? I love that contrast. You could say that in all honesty, that Gotrek is the biggest failure as a Slayer in the history of the Dowie. Which is kind of a fun jibe at the concept of Slayers in general. Okay, dwarfs in the lore, they're always trying to... So, dwarfs in the lore, Jake Wu, are always trying to regain relics of their ancestors. I agree. Like, I would love to see something in campaign, at least, come out of Karak Zorn. And to have some stuff like a rune golem in campaign at the very least. Or some really cool things like that. Because I think that would be so fun. I think it would just be really interesting to have the dwarves do that in campaign. Javier, and that's wrong. They seek death. So if they survive with no armor, what kind of bearded monster killers do we have around here? It's true. Javier, no armor. Wizard. If I have to choose one thing to be added, it would be Doomseekers. Gotcha. Doomseekers. Cool. Jake Wu, I mean, the last time a dwarf rune lord tried to reanimate a rune golem, the rune magic backfired and caused the poor Dowie to turn to stone. I think that would be cool. Javier, yeah, you read my mind. Doomseekers. Jake Wu, Rune Priest of Elia would also be amazing and helpful for a glorious roster. I would love it. Jake Wu, failure to own his own kind with huge flipping success for other races. Grumpy Guard. Grombrindle is a Slayer in AOS 2, I reckon. I haven't seen much about Age of Sigmar. I mean, I do want to go take a look at it. I think the second edition is out. And I saw Lore Master Sotek's video. I haven't watched it all, but I do want to watch it. I love watching Lore Master Sotek's videos. They're so good. I mean, that's where I've learned. I mean, I've learned lore from Lore Master, from Italian Spartacus, from Milk and Cookies Total War, from Arch Warhammer, and there's a few others that, like Book of Troy is good for lore, but that's pretty new. And there's a few others that I watch lore from for the Dowie. But Lore Master Sotex is always the most in-depth. They're all good. All of them are great, but Lore Master is the most in-depth. And plus he likes the dwarfs, which was really good. 58. Because I constantly hear like Italian Spartacus is fun. He likes the High Elves, and he always calls it the War of the Beard. It's not the War of the Beard, it's the War of Vengeance. but it's like one of those subtle things that you only notice if you're a dwarf main or dwarf lover, right? 5818. 5818. A nasty skulkers, 34.99. Okay, and Ungor spears, we've got 14.20. Okay, so 96 gold. A little more messy results, but not too bad. Jake Wu, Grumpy Guard. Jake Wu. Female Dowie make the Elgi females blush and envy melee prowess. Exactly. And like when I played, the first and only MMO I played was Warhammer Online. And you could have female rune priest, male rune priest. I think you could have an engineer, and the Ironbreaker were all male, female. The Slayer wasn't, though. The Slayer was only male. Now I've heard. I loved Lore Master Sotek's explanation as to, question was, are there female Slayers? And his explanation is there, probably in the lore, but it would be such a tragedy for a Dowie Karak that it would be like, not only it would be a disgrace for the female Slayer that had to be a Slayer, that half the Karak would also have to take the Slayer oath, because it would be such a tragedy. So I really do like love his explanations, actually. 5806, they're so good. 5806. Nasty Skulkers, 31.97. Okay, and Ungor Spears, we've got 14.90. 67 gold. Okay, and the battle rematch. Okay, let me see, back to chat. Jake Wu, I'd love to see my Dowie Rens. Me too, Jake. Me too. It'd be so rare as well. At least give me a Ren as a hero, like a rune priest. I like the idea. Because the things that no one, like, if someone's never seen Ren art, I mean, female dwarfs are really pretty. Like, their art's amazing in Games Workshop, and they were really, really well done in Warhammer Online. Like, they just did such a great job. I should see if I can go find a piece. I'm just gonna go find a piece real quick of art. Okay, Rune Priest picture Warhammer Online. Okay, see if I can get images. Okay. Let me see if I can find a good image. I'm just looking through a bunch here. I mean, the game is pretty old now, so like a lot of the pictures are probably not. Yeah, I'm just looking. Let me see. Let me find a good picture. Because I really liked how they were done. Like, their models were really good. I think everything was really well done. Where is... Jeez, the internet can be so irritating. Okay. Open link in new window. Nope. I just want a picture of a rune priest from Warhammer Online, but I cannot find the damn thing. I'd like a good picture. Okay, maybe I ought to redo my search. What did I put? Rune priest. Warhammer Online. Female dwarf. Let's try that. Okay. Now, how do I make this big? View image. Okay. And make it bigger. Can I make this bigger? Save image as. Okay, let's just put that on my desktop. Save. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, why would I be able to find it? Well, you can kind of see it. I mean, that's what the female dwarfs look like. That was a female Ironbreaker. I think they did a pretty great job with them. They look great, and there's a few different models for the female dwarfs in Warhammer, which I really like them all. So we'll get this going. Okay, and put this aside. Okay, and now back to the testing. Okay, keep going. Okay, and so I probably missed a bazillion chats. Okay, so female dwarf. Okay, let's say so rare. We need our Rens to further resolve our DAO emails. That's true. Autocorrect is bomb. Yeah. What do you guys think about Grombrindle's skills and items? Grumpy Guard. They're okay. I mean, first of all, I would like Grombrindle to be a legendary hero, not a legendary lord. But I mean, I've said that a bazillion times. I don't think it'll ever happen. If he's a legendary hero, he becomes perfect, I think. Because you could put Grombrindle with any of your other lords. That's how he actually is in the lore. He's not a legendary lord, he's a legendary hero. I know he's a lord in like the old when he was Snorri Whitebeard, but we're not in the modern fantasy lore. 5827. Whoops. 5827. And Nasty Skulkers. Okay, Nasty Skulkers. 3546. 3546. What is going on here? 3546. Okay. 3546. And we've got Ungor Spearman Herd. 1645. 45. Total gold differential is 74.4. Yeah, it is what it is. Alright, here we go. Miners. I want to see how much that +2 melee attack is going to make for my miners. That'll be interesting. Copy V. They're going to go up against Dwarf Warriors first. Exit. Quit battle. Javier, why are there no female Slayer models? Because there just isn't. I don't know if they would be topless or not. I mean, how would that work for a female Slayer? Grumpy Guard. Runic Helm of Zufbar is kind of meh because dwarves still do have great leadership. Also, Smoke Bomb is kind of buffed. Nasty Skulker still. Well, Rune Helm of Zufbar is not that great. I agree. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, 12 leadership? How would you use that? Maybe it could be useful against some factions, but the problem is, against factions with a lot of fear and terror, like all the undead, the dwarfs are already good. So, it is what it is, I guess. Dwarf Warriors, and we'll get our Dowie. Let's get some miners in here, and we'll get that test going. Do I sell 5,700 HP? Yep, 5,700 HP. Start the battle. Okay, only his weapon makes sense, as he should at least cause fear. Grumpy Guard might... I don't think it's a bad idea for him to cause fear, because he is sort of a ghost. Well, he's not really, but I don't know. I like that he does. It does got debuff leadership, which is kind of like fear. So I guess it's okay. Javier, this all focus miners time. That's right, Zach be saying his items are around 70 gold overpriced. I agree there, Zach. They are too expensive. All dwarf items are generally too expensive, with the exception of the most powerful ones, which is ironic. The most powerful items are the cheapest for some reason. Well, at least they used to be until they changed the Rune of Wrath and Rune. I know some people still think it's awesome. I mean, I saw Eric Carthage describe it as chariot insurance, which is, that's what it is now. It's chariot insurance. I mean, it's not great. It's okay. The old Rune of Wrath and Rune was definitely stronger. I'm convinced of that now. But as far as the good of the faction, the new Rune of Wrath and Rune might be stronger. So the old Rune of Wrath and Rune as an ability by itself was stronger. The new Rune of Wrath and Rune for the faction of the Daoi is stronger because it will deter people from bringing chariots and single entity monsters, which can disrupt the Daoi back line. Even though, like, I've played a game against a Rourke boss, his high elves, and I think I have it on the channel. I brought triple Rune of Wrath and Rune. I brought Rune Lord and 2 Runesmith, all with Rune of Wrath and Rune. He brought 2 chariots, 2 eagles, and a Lariel on an eagle, and just overwhelmed me. Even though I had all the Runes of Wrath and Rune, I was able to kill Lariel and do a number on some of his units, but I just couldn't. I couldn't deal with all the pressure. Like, you can still overwhelm Rune of Wrath and Rune, but it is sort of chariot insurance. So I think it, even though the ability itself is not as good, the idea of the ability is quite powerful for your opponents. 5601. 01. And Dwarf Warriors finish with 3606. Whoops, 3606. Yeah, Miners finished with 1162. Yeah, you see the Miners are still losing gold here. So this is the matchup where the Miners should win gold against the Dwarf Warrior, because Dwarf Warriors are heavily armored, non-armor piercing, but they still lose gold. So they're still weak. That's why, man, I don't think they would need much of a nerf, if any, if they got their underground ability, because they're still pretty weak in combat. But we'll keep on testing. Okay, rematch. Go Miners, go. That's right. We'll see exactly how they finish. That +2 melee attack is not nothing. It's actually pretty good, I think. Jake, I wish we could get a Thunder Regiment in reality, like the Zufbar Fireboars. So, you know, in my Grombrindle campaign, my first Mortal Empires campaign, which was like 2 years ago now, I started to do some themed armies, and someone suggested I do a true themed army for Belagar Ironhammer, and he had some named Thunders. He had a whole bunch of named units. It was great. It was really fun. I would love to see more of that, to be honest. Jake Wu, or the Gold Seekers Regiment are renowned for the Miners. Yep. Jake Wu. Hell, Belagar should get his own unit named after a hammer for the Grim Brotherhood. Yes. Yes, his own. I agree. There's, like, Belagar has a lot of named units. And when I did the themed armies in Mortal Empires, his had quite a few. Like the clan-based units and whatnot, which is great. It was really fun to actually research that army. I can't remember who suggested it and gave me the links, but I researched the army and built it, and it was really fun. Now, it wasn't a classically good campaign army, because campaign armies, like really good ones, are hyper focused, but it was a fun army. It was a really fun army. 56 on the nose. 56, very consistent there. Dwarf Warriors finished with 3772, and Miners finished with 1136. And it's like, okay, so I lost 100 gold. Here's exactly where you see the problem that I can demonstrate the problem that I see with miners still, and I always point this out as why they're so weak. Is miners have armor piercing and armor. They should do great against dwarf warriors. Right now they're averaging about 95 gold. Ungor spears with shields are like 138 gold. Like, it's not that much of a difference. 50 gold. Like, miners should do much better. They're okay. We'll see how they did compared to what their old numbers are. That's what I want to see, because +2 melee attack is welcomed and it is good. Okay, in battle, and I'm very happy that buff came along. A wizard lizard. While I'm off from work, go for a few drinks. Have a good ones, wizard lizards. Work hard, party harder. Agreed. Jake Wu, buy a wizard lizard. Javier. Well, they have armor pen. Is armored units the target of miners? Yes. Tabletop game doesn't matter because the weak units like archers, so they have armor pen and useful against. So this is the thing. You're exactly right, Javier. Is what is the target of the miner? Now, because people see them as armor-piercing armored units, think the target of a miner is like ideals, like a dwarf warrior, or a chaos warrior, stuff like that. But this is not what they're used for the tabletop at all. In tabletop, they're like underground. You know, they're surprise units. They're battlefield control units. You know, you can't really tell the difference between a miner and a gyrocopter in some senses because they can pop up anywhere. So your opponents can't just rush you and leave their war machines unprotected because they don't know if you have miners. Well, in tabletop, I suppose they did, but they don't know where they're going to pop up. That's why they're powerful, is the idea of them is more powerful than they actually are. And I'm okay with miners being weak in combat if they have their tabletop ability to go underground. I mean, deploying them Vanguard underground to 10 speed where they're completely hidden and can pop up anywhere at any time is powerful. I agree, but it's not like it's unprecedented. How many units don't not only have stock, but how many units have... what's the one that's more powerful than stock? The concealment bobs give you... essentially, you can show up right on top of a unit right now. Like that Skaven unit, Death Runners have it. And they're on top of you before you even know it. They're essentially... they can get to within, I'm going to say, 40 meters, 30 meters before you even spot them. They're unspottable. That's what it is. And so it's not like this ability would be game-breaking, especially for the Dowie. Because it's like Dowie have the mobility to support them once they got out. Like, once you pop your miners out from under the ground, if they don't have support, they're not going to get any. You know? It's not like you're going to be able to rush over a whole lot of support. But it would make some fun gameplay, for sure. 55, 59. I would absolutely love it. So, again, the cycle, once the next patch comes out, October 17th, with Gotrek and Felix made free to everyone, and hopefully we get a flamethrower or gyrocopter, which would be completely awesome. That would be great. Dwarf Warriors. Great weapons, finished with 3442. Yeah, miners did a little better there. Looks like 1204. 71 gold, yep. Quick battle, rematch. Dwarfs are... Wizard Lizard, I'll have a few drinks for you, mates. Thanks, Wizard Lizard. Javier, dwarfs already have 3 more units with armor pen. Needed a 4th. The only way to improve them is tunneling. I agree. We are 100. I think every dwarf player is on that page. Grumpy Guard, sort of hover about Lord topic. Grumpy Guard, you can talk about anything in this. You know, well, what I'd like you to be talking about, the Dark Elf Lizardman matchup. You know, I wouldn't be that interested. I might not interact with you as much, but anything dwarf is, you could talk about it ad nauseum forever as long as you want in this channel. It's kind of bugging me. Even dwarf lords would not be knocked around so much. It would really make characters like Ungerman and Gotrek viable. So Grumpy Guard, the answer is no, because the person who put it best is that I've heard is oh shoot, Wyvern. And he said, dwarf lords and dwarf heroes are hard to kill and easy to ignore because there is no faction that is slower than dwarves in general. I get it. There are some elements of some factions like zombies that are slower than the Daoi, but this is the problem with the Footlord, that people when they're balancing and they're talking about Footlords, they always seem to forget is Footlords don't choose their engagements. They can't choose their engagements, even against other Footlords. It's really hard to choose your engagement because they can just run away from you. Like, there's so many Footlords that even if they're like Footlords that are like at 40 speed, or some are even at really, really high speed, like Orion, like you can't catch anything. It's really hard. So you have to combine it with something that can slow things down, like a runesmith, and even then you don't catch them for long. Like honestly, I know exactly what you're saying, Grumpy Guard, because I know you have tried to chase around Sathoro. Like, you can't catch them. You can slow them down for a little bit and get some damage, but you're not going to catch them. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. It's part of dwarf gameplay. How do you use them? The only way I think you can really effectively use dwarf lords is to put your dwarf lord in the honeypot. So out of your deployment, your dwarf lord should be located at your most juicy target. So if you have, say, a flame cannon, then your dwarf lord should be right on top of your flame cannon, because your flame cannon will get attacked, so they have to come to you. So the only way to, I think, the most effective way to use dwarf lords in general is going to put them in the honeypot that your opponent is guaranteed to come at. I think that's probably the best way. I never can do it because I'm so impatient. I want to click on things and get them fighting, but I think that's the right way to do it. 55-50. 55-50. Dwarf Warriors finished with 3598. 98. And Miners finished with 1205. Okay, in the battle and rematch. Javier, I'm so disappointed Angram and Gotrek can't win against Mazdamundi. Even if they lost versus Mazdamundi, Javier, I'd be okay if they took a big chunk out of his fat ass, I would be fine with it. If he finished with like 2,000 hit points and he still won against Gotrek and or Angram, I'd be okay if they freaking pounded his ass, but they don't. That's the problem. They don't get any damage in. They just get knocked around. Like, I'm okay with losing as long as I can get some real good damage in and I can feel like at least I put up a fight. But it's really frustrating when they don't even put up on a fight. They're just eating dirt for the whole time, Grumpy Guard, without giving them slows net or having around them slows net. I agree, Grumpy Guard. Jake Wu, my typing is very rushed and weird today. How about Dork, Elgi versus Dowie, or Dowie versus Lizardman? I think dwarfs have a slight advantage versus Lizardmen. They've always had it, even when the Lizardmen sort of in the last meta where the Lizardmen had the red crested skinks at 575. I think red crested skinks were not that great versus the Dowie all around, but if you weren't prepared for them, they could do really well. Dark Elves, I still think that is a mess of a matchup. I think it's hopeless for the Dowie if the Dark Elves bring the Harganeth Executioner / Harpy build. I don't know how you beat that. I just don't. Maybe it's that I can't see it because I'm so, like, I think it's so strong that I'm just so biased I can't even see. But fortunately, most Dark Elf players don't bring that build, and a balanced Dark Elf build you can fight. I mean, it's a good fight. 55-54. $36.22. And Miners finished with 10.56. Well, here we go. So Miners only lost 86 gold. Let's see what they lost before. Only lost 86 gold. Okay, let me see. Go here. Miners. There we go. They lost 96 gold. So The +2 melee attack has been worth against Dwarf Warriors about 10 gold. We'll see what it's worth against the Nasty Skulkers. It's definitely going to pull them up the ranking list for sure. So just save that. Oh, let's go get ourselves some Nasty Skulkers. In battle. In battle. Jake, we sorry can't think of a Dowie word for lizardman, so I'll have to speak with a Peps on Sotek's Discord. Yes. Agreed, Jake. I've never heard a Dowie word for lizardmen either. But the dwarves don't really interact with lizardmen. Okay. Let's go with... Not in the lore they don't that much. Not that I'm aware. I've even heard Sotek talk about it. He says it's not like they really interact a lot, except for maybe Karak Zorn, and no one knows exactly what happened there. If it was lizardmen, if it was chaos, if it was lizardmen influenced by chaos, or if it was just the dwarves getting greedy and going after lizardmen gold and getting to a fight like that. Like there's I think the most likely thing that happened to Karak Zorn is, I mean, the Dowie just got greedy in their minds and went after the lizardmen gold, and they took the wrong thing, and the lizardmen fought in full force, and the Dowie weren't capable of defeating them. Because if there's one thing dwarves have, it's gold fever. I mean, it is a real problem for all dwarves in all lore is gold fever. You know, it makes dwarves do dumb things. Okay, 59-54. Huh. Okay. Well, there we go. 54. That's a little different for whatever reason. Okay. Copy V. Okay, and we'll let that play out. See how long. It'll be interesting to see how the miners do. They'll get them some more damage against the Nasty Skulkers, but Nasty Skulkers are really, really crushing against miners. So good. Oops. And boom. Okay, there we go. Okay, 58-55. 58-55. Nasty Skulkers finished with 48-68. And the miners finished with 1792. Okay. Well, only lost 113 gold, and that's not too bad. In the battle, a rematch. Okay. Jake, we need a massive dwarf train in the battlefield with all the ranged units. So that would be fun, Jake. Agreed. Grumpy Guard, I'm trying to propose a change for lords which can generate value only while in melee without completely changing their role or destroying balance. The worst characters so far are. Okay, Jake Woo. Melee for whatever survives the D-Day would rain on them. Grumpy Guard. Ungrim, Grimgor, Krokar. Okay. Grimlock 2 because he's more expensive than Saurus, Old Blood, Tyrion, Grombrindle, kind of, and Gotrek. Okay. Jake Woo, that grinds my gears. Jake Woo. That's why we need to Rune Golems to smash him in the face harder for once. Javier. In game, there's one thing that could implement in Total War, which are duels. Some heroes could duel enemy heroes or units if they regret that they suffer a huge moral penalty. Oh, okay. If they don't mind suffering a huge morale penalty. Interesting, Javier. I didn't know that. Jake, mostly ends in violence, I think. So that's true, Jake. Javier, it's kind of a web that could be rejected. Okay. A snare. Yeah, I get it exactly. Jake, there's a theory where a chaos demon basically orchestrated the fall of the glorious gold of our kin. Yeah, I know, Jake. I saw that theory. I agree, but it seems unlikely that chaos demons could actually influence lizardmen in that way, and it seems very likely that the Dowie of Karak Zorn just got greedy and went for too much Slan gold. That seems very likely. Like, they were around for a long time. They are around lizardmen. Lizardmen have gold. The dwarfs love gold. That seems incredibly likely. Like, you don't need to influence anything. And, it's sort of like the idea that, why propose a conspiracy when simple incompetence will do? And incompetence, if there is one thing where dwarfs can become incompetent, is when they get around gold. In theory, okay, imagine that all melee heroes had a skill that dual mechanics could be added. I would love that, Javier. Jake, gold. Oh my god, I'm typing like that Iraqi now. Gold. Jake, yeah, I agree. The kingdom stuff should be implemented in Warhammer, Total Warhammer. Jake, Lizardman got angry from them and killed him. That seems most likely, Jake. It's so, like, Carrick Zorn, it was a pretty important Karak, but it's not like it was supported from all places, and it's not like there was the Underway. It's not like there was, like, and it's not like Lizardmen are not forgiving. They are not. And, if they think some, and it's not like Lizardmen hate dwarves. They don't. But if they decided the Dowey were taking all their gold and it was a real problem, they would descend on them with immense force, and there's nothing you could do. I mean, I'm sure Carrick Zorn held out for a long time. Like, they could have held out in their keep for 100 years, but that was 3,000 years ago, right? So nasty skulkers. All right. Yeah, I'm just like, what kind of demon could actually orchestrate that, and why would you need to? If he orchestrated it, if the demon orchestrated it, he wouldn't have to corrupt the Dowey or corrupt the Lizardman. All you have to do is show the Dowey where the Lizardman gold was. It's not like you even have to do anything terribly difficult. So maybe that's possible in that story. And it could be. Who knows what the story is? But it's a rumor. It just seems like, maybe if they were going to manipulate, they wouldn't need to corrupt either side. They just need to show the dwarfs to the Lizardman gold. And if there was dwarf factions like all the time in Lustria, they would always be fighting with the Lizardmen because they would be taking their gold nonstop. 58. Nasty Skulkers finished with 4604. And the Miners finished with 1687. Okay, 98 gold differential. That's not too bad. Nasty Skulkers are really, really good, so that's actually pretty decent. That's a pretty nice gold differential, to be honest. Lizardman got Jake Wu. Even if the Dowey won and killed more Lizardmen, it won't do the world or themselves much good. That's true, Jake. It's Cinch, probably. Okay. Laughing at the flaw of the Dowey race. That could be correct, Jake. Hello, it's cocaine to us if you think it is. Gold is bad. And the funny thing is, I mean, I know even in my campaigns, like, this is why I love the dwarfs. I just want to make my economy really good, and I'll make bad decisions to take, like, gold mines and stuff like that. I mean, it translates, like, the idea of just gathering this massive, huge economy translates to me as a person playing the dwarfs. I me's that's what I want. I mean, I don't care about killing everybody. I care about getting all the gold. And it can translate into mistakes. It really can. Where you just get greedy. You just do something dumb because you're just greedy. Oh, excuse me. All right. It is the bane. Gold is the glory and the bane of the dwarfs. Really is. And it translates to those of us who love them. 58, 52. Nasty Skulkers 4447. Oops. 7. And Miners finished with 1577. 91 gold. I think the Miners are doing much better. Rematch. Grumpy Guard. V posted my idea about Grombrindle and Miners in the Total War forum. Okay, if you guys think it's worth the trouble looking at, expressing your thoughts, we could make enough noise to see it notes. I will definitely get on that post, Grumpy Guard. Jake Wu, blame the old ones for not finishing to edit our creation. That's right. It is the old ones' fault. Like, I get how they wanted the Dowey to be non-magical, They gave us a fatal flaw. And this is why I like Warhammer, because every faction has a fatal flaw, right? With the Lizardmen, it's the great plan. That's the fatal flaw. Is it part of the great plan? You know, and trying to figure out whether it is just paralyzes them. Every faction has these great flaws, which are so wonderful. You know, 5902. 4963. 4963. And we got 1840. Okay. There we go. 118 gold in that battle. Rematch. Okay. Jake Wu, they saw our failure and didn't care to fix our gold hunger. Shame on them. Agreed, Jake. It is the old one's fault. Javier, birds need to fly as much as miners need to mine. This is true. That's it. That is the correct description, Javier. That is actually the correct way of thinking about it, because it is the nature of the Daoi. You know, asking a dwarf why they love gold would be like asking a fish why it loves water. I mean, it's a nonsensical question if you understand what a dwarf is. And even making a dwarf realize that they're affected that way by gold would be like trying to make a fish understand water. It's just there. You don't understand it. It's part of who you are and part of your environment. Jake Wu, well, thinking about it, they didn't have that much time because of chaos and stuff. Well, okay, sure. I mean, but they messed up the high elves even. They messed up the elves, high elves. They messed up the elves even worse, and they had plenty of time. Because the elves came before the Daoi. 58-59. I think the old ones were maybe not as wise as the Lizardmen like to think they were. 58-59. 49-05. 1910. So 105 gold they lost to the Nasty Skulkers. Let's see what they are up here. 105 gold, Nasty Skulkers. Okay. 105 gold, Nasty Skulkers. 115. So they're up a solid 10 gold. Up a solid 10 gold from that change. Versus both Nasty Skulkers and Dwarf Warriors, which is good. Now, Tomb King Skeletons got an extra bonus versus large, but they got an increase to their attack animation speed. Where are they? Tomb King, Spearman. And this has happened in the Empire Undivided. Okay, they got a minus 1.2 seconds to melee attack interval. I don't know why they did that precisely. Plus 1 bonus versus large. That really does separate them from Vampire Count Spearman. So it is what it is. See, I would love to know CA's thinking. I know it's hard for CA to pull their thinking because they get criticized massively no matter what their thinking is. But when you're in a game that there is no win or lose, you might as well just be open. That's why I love World of Tanks. I love how open they are with their stats. Well, thinking, okay, it was still low. They were second to the Lizardmen, yet they still failed. I love Warhammer. Me too, Jake. Most fantasy have elves as like this godlike race and stuff, but in Warhammer it's not quite the case. Agreed. Javier. Ancient dwarf poem says, roses are red, birds love flying. Why the hell are our miners don't mine? I'll post that. That's funny. So Tomb King Skeletons. Okay, we'll end the battle. What time is it? I might take a break here. How long have I been streaming for? An hour and 40 minutes? Okay. Yeah, I might take a break and go grab a bite to eat and then come back. Okay, so dwarfs. Because the next one is Tomb Kings. Oh, I do want to try and get this set of tests complete today. Skeleton Spearman. Yeah, you can't see their animation differential. Their bonus versus large, they are now 14 bonus versus large. So what is a vampire spearman at? Wait a minute. Were they at 14 bonus versus large before? And then the Tomb Kings just caught up to him? That's weird. Skeleton Spearmen. Tomb Kings have less armor, silver shields, less speed, and less charge bonus. See, this is the one thing that just kind of bugs me a little bit. Like, Tomb King's skeletons should be way better than vampire skeletons, because Tomb King skeletons are sentient. But I don't know. I don't care. It's not my faction. It's just weird. Yeah. Okay. What do we got left? So we have Tomb King spears, Tomb King spears, zombie deckhand pirates, zombie pirate deckhand mobs, pole arms, and the basic zombie pirate deckhand mobs. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 30 tests, and we have 30 tests left. So that's about halfway. So I think I will end the stream here, and I'll try and come back again later today. I do want to finish this up and actually finish all my testing. Like, I really want to update everything. So I want to update every single level. Storm Vermin, I'll be interested to see how they did. Plague Monk Sensor Bearers as well. And Plague Monks. Plague Monk Sensor Bearers got buffed. Oh, what about Plague Monks? No. I do want to kind of test them and sort of see where everybody's at. And the Karen Wraiths, they badly needed some buffs. They were so bad. But we'll see where they're at. Depth Guard will be interesting. They're already okay. But we'll see where they ended up. Anyways, I'm going to end the stream here. Let me see. Jake, they're still equal to the Dowie, if not lesser than us. Wait, yeah. Okay, then I'll trash talk Elgie later. To be honest, I do like every stream, but do you guys find this interesting? We do lore talk at the same time about John and stuff, joke and stuff. Yeah, I do. I do, Jake. I love it, actually. It's fun to just chat. Okay, so we will end the stream here. Thanks for everyone for stopping in and saying hello. I will try and get to the rest of this testing today to get the 400 and under group settled, and I will continue this testing. I really want to have this all updated and sorted. I know there might be some minor changes with this upcoming patch on the October 17th, but I do want to get it all tested. And I'm going to look for that gyrocopter with the flamethrower. Javier, I'll be back. Spanish dwarves need dinner too. Grumpy Guard is great watching, talking. Have a good one. All right, have a good one, everyone. Thanks a lot.